Let's talk about Teflon tape, when you wrap it, what direction you wrap it, why you wrap it that direction, and what kind of tape goes where. One of the most common questions I see from people is how many times should you wrap the tape around and what direction should you wrap the tape around? There's a couple different types. White is gonna be the standard Teflon tape. There's a blue brand called Blue Monster. It's a little bit thicker and you don't have to wrap that as many times. But a good rule of thumb, and what they always say if you look up any type of data on wraps, I think it says like 2 to 3 wraps. I usually wrap this a couple more times if I'm using the white tape, but you don't want to go too many times, because if you go too many times, it can mess with your seal and it can be hard to get your attachment piece on. But if you don't go enough times, you don't get the seal. So the important thing is when you're looking at the pipe and the threads, you're going to go clockwise. And the reason for that is when you screw your connection on to tighten, you're gonna go clockwise. We've all heard righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And to loosen, you're gonna go counterclockwise. Well, if you wrap counterclockwise and then you try to tighten this on, it's gonna be fighting and unraveling the tape. Whereas if you wrap clockwise and then you tighten this, it's grabbing that tape and bringing it with it as it tightens and goes around. So the good rule of thumb is if you're looking straight at whatever you're putting your tape on. Now, one thing too is you don't want to start right here because it makes it a little harder for you to get whatever piece you're connecting. You want to start 1 or 2 threads back. So I'm going to start a little bit back and I'm going to pull really tight as I'm doing this. And sometimes you got to hold that first little bit on and you want to overlap as you go, pull it really tight. So here's what I mean when as I tighten it, I'm going to just show you from the side. I'm going the same direction, and if you have a hard time getting something started, one trick is just to go backwards a little bit, gonna go lefty-loosey, and then start going the right direction to tighten. So I wrapped it this direction, so as I go, I'm tightening. Another thing is if you're gonna start working on a thread or you're pulling old thread seal tape off or pipe dope, you wanna make sure that you're cleaning out your threads before you start. There's several different colors of Teflon tape. The most common you're gonna see is white. You're gonna see a blue brand. Again, there's a Blue Monster brand that's basically like the white Teflon tape, but it's a little bit thicker, and it says on the container, I think you can use it for different uses. You're also gonna see yellow, which is commonly used for gas pipe. You will see, sometimes you'll see pink for water lines, but I hardly ever see pink in the wild, but technically I believe that's what it's for. And then I think the gray is for stainless steel. So honestly, mostly I see yellow, I see the blue one because that's a brand, and I see the white one. If you're not sure, just double check on what you're using and do a quick Google search. But the biggest thing is make sure you're wrapping the direction that your threads are tightening and that you're doing a nice overlap and you're leaving that first little bit before you start your wrap so it's easier to start your twist when you're screwing on your attachment. So that's it. Happy thread sealant Teflon taping. See you guys on the next one.